Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 161. A few new faces on the channel today. We've obviously got Emma, who's been on many episodes with us now, but we've also got Andy and we've also got Michael. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. This one is essentially just going to be a big build-up to the Arsenal game that's happening at the weekend. We play them at Prenton Park in the fifth round of the FA Cup on Sunday. I think just firstly, how are we all feeling about it? Obviously a big game of the season against a big side. Liverpool women are obviously doing very well at the minute. Does that kind of give you a little boost of confidence ahead of Sunday's match? Obviously going into it 14, 15 games unbeaten now, I think. So it's all looking pretty good for us at the minute, isn't it, Emma?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's probably the best time that you can play Arsenal when you're full of confidence, you're top of the table, results have been going well. So it's a bit of a free hit. Like I'm sure we'll come on to this later in terms of, the mentality of both of the teams going into the game. But yeah, I just think it's a bit of a free hit. Liverpool have obviously done amazing in the league this season. We had a pretty decent Conti Cup run as well. So I just think it's a game, isn't it, for fans to just get excited about. You get to see some world-class players on the pitch in the Liverpool side, and I guess in Arsenal as well. It will just be a really good game, and hopefully the Carabao Cup final, obviously in the men's, doesn't impact the crowd too much on the Sunday, and there'll be a decent atmosphere at Prenton Park.
Yeah, well, I've got that written down here. Obviously, the kick-off time was originally 2 p.m. for the women's match on Sunday. It's been moved to 12. I think there was also shout of trying to move it to the Saturday as well to give it the best opportunity to get a big crowd. But I think 12 p.m. is a good time. Obviously, the men's final, I think, is 4:30 kick-off, so that's a reasonable amount of time, I think, for fans who want to watch the men's game to sort of, the Clippers only over the road. I'm sure it'll be on in there that they can all head across to there or get themselves back into town. But it's good at least that they've kind of changed the kick-off time now, and it gives fans an opportunity to attend or watch both matches, really, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, massively. As you say, it would have been absolutely ideal if they could have played it on the Saturday, and then we could have all gone to that and gone down to the men's game on the Sunday. Obviously, me, Emma, and Mick all have tickets for the game on the Sunday, so we won't actually be able to attend this one, but we'll be able to watch it. And the main thing is that fans of the men's and women's team can actually watch both games live and enjoy both in that way. And for what we've had basically for, it feels like the last 2 months, every single weekend the men and the women seem to be playing at the same time, which is really, really annoying, especially the momentum the women got and the support that they kind of built up over the season. That kind of arc of support that was coming down to Prenton Park every Sunday. So it has been really frustrating, and it is frustrating on a personal note for me as I am going down to Wembley. But yeah, I think Kiva did a great piece on it. The most important thing is that fans can get to actually watch both games and show their support for both teams in whatever way they can. And I think just to echo what Emma said there, that it is very much, I think the phrase used was free hit, and it's exactly that, isn't it, this Sunday? Matt Beard's come out and has said that the main focus is on the WSL and will continue to be until that is, mathematically wrapped up. We're looking like we're in a very comfortable position at the moment. 10 points clear. It'll be cut to 7 if I think the London City Lionesses win their next game. But Liverpool have shown no signs of any sort of collapse that would be required to sort of go away from being top of the table, and the teams below us haven't really shown any signs of stopping, just beating each other and actually somebody going on a run. So we're looking very good in it. It is a free hit, and listen, Arsenal at home at 12 o'clock on a Sunday, it'll be good to see some world-class players there. But enough about fairness. We can maybe talk about Miedema and all the rest of them later.
Yeah, we'll touch on Arsenal squad and stuff later on properly, but yeah, obviously they're top of the WSL, we're top of the Championship. We're going into this game in the better form with 5 wins out of our last 6 games. Arsenal have got 2 wins out of their last 6. You've got to be thinking, haven't you, as a Liverpool squad this week in the build-up to it. Obviously, with international break, it's sort of a little bit difficult to sort of prepare for that. But the ones who haven't gone away internationally and are at home preparing for it, you've got to be just full of confidence and just thinking, do you know what, we've just got to go out there and play our best game, really, and just kind of hope for the best, haven't you, Mick?
Definitely, yeah. I think the excitement that I've got towards it is the fact that we're going to see players that like they're finally going to get their true test. Kiernan's ran away with like this top goal scorer with 12 goals, and she's going to come up against some world class defenders that she probably hasn't really had that test too much through this season. And it's the same for like Sir Missy Bow, and so like those players that's what they're going to be coming up against next season if all goes well. So it's time to just, I think more or less they've got a good squad there for the women. So it's getting that 11 right, and if we go into that game where there's people trying to cement a position going into next season as well, there'll be questions on some of the players' heads of whether are they a strong enough team to be in the WSL. So they've all got a point to prove as much as it is a free hit. They've also got to stamp their authority in this team and against a stronger opposition, which hopefully next season will become the week in, week out expectation to play this level of football. So we've really got to go into it sort of all guns blazing and with a point to prove.
Yeah, well, we've obviously faced Villa early on in the Cup, and then we also faced Spurs a few weeks ago in the Cup as well. So, and we obviously beat Villa and we lost narrowly 1-0 to Spurs away. So, I'm kind of not nervous going into this fixture because you know that you can face those WSL sides and you can sort of, put in a good shift and a good performance. And the squad will be looking at that, won't they, Emma, and focusing on like those previous games this season against WSL opposition and thinking, well, why can't we just go and do exactly what we did against those two sides as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but Liverpool, most of the squad, they've got WSL experience. Mick's right, it is about sort of playing your way into, Matt Beard's plans in terms of the long-term WSL future for Liverpool. But a lot of these players, they've got the experience, the likes of Jazz Matthews, and even Leanne Kernan, who's come down, like they were at West Ham, they were at Bristol City. They know what it takes to compete in the WSL. It's that next step of competing in the WSL with one, a new team in their case, but also, a team that is essentially kind of building again. It's the start of a new journey for Liverpool in the WSL. Obviously when they get there, and I think it is a matter of when, not if now, but yeah, so by all means they will be looking at those previous games at Villa and Spurs and saying, yeah, look, we were more than capable of competing. Obviously beat Villa in a penalty shootout in 90 minutes, drew with them. Tottenham narrowly lost, but I know we were at that game, Lauren, weren't we? And certainly from my opinion, I actually thought Liverpool were probably the better side, and that's the Spurs team who were who at the time were third in the WSL. They're full of confidence. They're having their best season in their club's history. So if that doesn't give you confidence, then, I'm not sure what else can really. So there's plenty for this Liverpool side to be excited about, and there's plenty for them to sort of look at in terms of, the markers of where they're at. And I don't think this game against Arsenal will define them in any way. I don't think, if they go and get heavily beaten by the side that is top of the WSL and, has arguably been one of the best teams in Europe this season, I don't think if you lose to them, 4-5-0, then it means that Liverpool aren't ready to compete in the WSL. I don't agree with that at all. But, you'd like to think that Liverpool have got enough momentum, enough confidence from those previous games, and hopefully enough experience in the squad to be able to compete with Arsenal, at least give it a good go. And if they're able to do that, whatever the scoreline is, but, in terms of just the performance itself, if they're able to do that, then I think there'll be a lot of Liverpool fans that will be very excited for next season to see actually how they can kick on and go that one step further when they are in that position to be competing in the WSL week in, week out.
Yeah, and I think one of the most interesting things for me this season is in terms of like how our formations change and just how well it's worked for us. And obviously, with Stengel coming in January, that's kind of moved Keenan out onto the left at times in games. And when we asked her about it a couple of weeks ago, she said she didn't mind. She quite liked, mixing it up in the forward line and stuff. But I don't know, Andy, do you think he'll go with the two of them up front at the weekend? Do you think that's our best option, or do you think he'll try and move Kiernan back into that number 9 role and try and get a play off the the shoulders of defenders. I don't know. What do you think the best option is there?
I think if he's playing his strongest team, certainly the two of them are most definitely in that 11 every day of the week, no matter where you kind of play the two of them. And I'd voiced some concerns to you guys at matches I've been in recent weeks that I think sort of purely from an individual point of view that Stengel and Kieran can get in the way of each other a little bit sometimes. Kieran does a lot of her best work on the wings, but it's always running from the centre into those channels really rather than being there as a starting point. But the thing I would say on that is, while Kieran's goals have dried up a little bit when Stengel has been on the pitch, it's not Matt Beard's job to make Leanne Kieran the best player in the league. It's Matt Beard's job to get Liverpool winning football matches. And since Stengel's came in, it's been, I think in the league, it's 6-0, 1-0, 4-0, 3-0 and 3-0 wins. There's also 4-0s and 6-0s in the FA Cup thrown in there for good measure. I mean, it's an absolutely phenomenal run of form, and this isn't just a sign of Katie Stengel. It's the formation changes you said. Well, formation change has sort of been in place all season, but the formation and the general defensive stability that we've seen over recent weeks. I mean, goodness me, even centre halves are popping up with hat tricks. This is how good it's been getting and how good form we've been in. So I think you look at it and, the two of them will learn to play together that little bit more. I do really like Leanne Kieran in that central role, but you can't argue with the impact Stengel's made herself. She's got a couple of goals and she's only just settling into a new country. And because me, look what the weather's been like over the last month and a half as well. Like, imagine what she's going to be like when she's not playing in the storm every week. You know what I mean? So I expect to see the two of them on Sunday. I think there's quite a lot about Sunday that actually does play into Liverpool's hands as well. I mentioned there the possibility of not going with the strongest team because the WSL is a priority, but I think our last 6 or 7 games in the league are spread over the next 10 weeks. Where you look at Arsenal's fixture list, they've got a WSL game next midweek, and they've got a Champions League game coming up as well. I mean, those will both be by far the priority for that Arsenal team as well. And you were mentioning the international players earlier. I'm sure I haven't done the specific research on every player, but I'm sure they had more players going away on international duty than we did. And even if you look at some of our players who have gone away, the likes of Fies made her 100th Ireland cap this week. Furness had another good international break. Missy Kearns has scored for the England youth teams as well. It's going to be that mix between those players having had a break and being ready to go, and also those players coming back from the international teams absolutely firing. And we've kind of just got that perfect storm at the minute, and let's just hope we can ride it out to the end of the season.
Yeah, picking up on Arsenal having so many players go away internationally there, in terms of who you're going to be the ones to watch for Arsenal on Sunday. Mick, I don't know who you're going to go for, but who would you pick out of that bunch that you think, that makes me nervous?
I've heard a good rumour going around that Leah Williamson's the one to watch. But no, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know the Arsenal side inside out. I think again, it's just more on an individual level for our girls to make sure they get a good idea of what it's like to be up against these top quality players. So I'm going to be excited, wanted to learn more about the Arsenal squad. To be honest, that's my sort of go-to for Sunday. Yeah,
there's a few players in the Arsenal team this season that I haven't even seen play before. That kind of makes you excited to watch them. But I know Andy really, really wants to talk about Miedema and just how much of a threat that she's going to be. But I reckon far he can take her, I reckon she'll be sound there.
Listen, yeah, and
take anyone.
There's 3 of them there as well at the back, which individually benefits centre halves. It always has, really. And if there is a threat as big as what Miedema is and has been over the last couple of years, then having those 3, Matt Beard will have a real serious game plan in terms of how to deal with Miedema if she does indeed play. I know she's played a lot of football recently, and I think when Arsenal had that COVID outbreak as well, I think Miedema was one of the players who actually survived it and was available for all the games. So she's literally been playing week in, week out. Obviously, he's a massive part of the Netherlands national team as well. Scored so many goals for them at big moments as well. So, she'll be relishing that. She'll be looking at her career and thinking, WSL, they're looking good there at the moment, obviously in a title race with Chelsea. But, if you can add an FA Cup to that as well, add some more international trophies like the Netherlands look like they can dominate for years to come as well, then, she's going to be racking up the trophies and counting them like that. So she'll have that determination to play herself. So that probably is the main threat from Arsenal. But you actually look at a couple of their games this season while they are flying in the WSL. Sometimes, and this is normal, but when they've had to make a couple of changes, they haven't, maybe fired quite as much. I know when they had that COVID outbreak, they lost to Birmingham City, who are bottom of the league, and that remains their only win of this season. They also lost to United in the Conti Cup at the first round for them to enter it. So, they are a fantastic side, and they are, they do have other priorities, but they're far from invincible. And, I do fancy us potentially actually to get an upset on Sunday, as mad as that seems.
Yeah. What about you, Anna? Any more players that you think, they make me a bit nervous?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's quality all over that Arsenal side. I mean, you look at, I guess for English fans, they'll know everything about Beth Mead. She's been in unbelievable form this season. Arguably one of England's best players this season. She'll be a massive threat, out wide. I mean, just their entire front line is dangerous because obviously you got Miedemar, you got Mead in there, but then they've also brought in, Stina Blackstenius in January, who has already made an excellent partnership with Miedemar. So, there's dangers there. And then one player for me who I actually think is one of the most underrated players in the WSL is Frida Marnham, who was signed in the summer. And she's, I guess she's a box-to-box midfielder, but then I would also say she's got kind of the quality and creativity on the ball that a lot of midfielders don't have in the WSL. So, the likes of Kerry Holland and Missy Bowe, they're going to have a real challenge trying to, keep her, I guess, out of dangerous situations. And then they've also got the set piece threat of Katie McCabe. And obviously, those corners and those free kicks that she gets in from the left back position or left wing position, whatever sort of position she ends up playing. So, yeah, we've got our own in terms of obviously the throw-ins from Meg Campbell and the free kicks and the corner deliveries from Missy Bowe. So we've got our own set piece threats, but Arsenal certainly they have plenty. So they can hurt Liverpool in lots of ways. But yeah, as I said before, I think Arsenal, they've gone through their own tricky patch. Obviously, they had that COVID outbreak. They've had that drop in form. They've come up against some big sides recently. They obviously played Chelsea and drew in arguably the best women's football match I think I've ever seen, and that was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, they'll obviously go into it as resounding favourites. I don't think there's any hiding around that. But you could say it's arguably the best time for this Liverpool side to be playing them in the form that Liverpool are in and the contrasting form that Arsenal are in. So just got to be wary of those threats. But absolutely, Liverpool have got plenty that they can offer as well. So hopefully, they can play to their strengths and make the most of it.
Emma, did we not agree never to talk about Beth Mead again after she scored a hat-trick against Northern Ireland? No? I swear I have that in writing somewhere.
Yeah, I might have done that deliberately.
After we stopped recording.
Up the Fernie.
Right, we'll finish off then. We'll finish off with score predictions. Now, me and Amy never do this because we always get them wrong, like terribly wrong. So we just stopped doing them and build up shows because we just embarrass ourselves. But I'll let you guys embarrass yourselves instead. So we'll start with you, Emma. What are you going for?
Sorry to be pessimistic, but I think I'm going 3-1 Arsenal. But like I say, I just don't think the result is that important for Liverpool. So I think if Liverpool can score against Arsenal and they can compete with them for the most of the 90 minutes, then I think 3-1 will be fine. Yeah.
How about you, Mate? What are you going for?
I'm going to be slightly more optimistic and go for a draw, and then we'll see where we go because I'm confident that they'll be up for the task and they'll be ready to give it their all. And I think we've dominated good phases of play recently as well, like good times in the game where Liverpool have really stepped it up. Like the majority of our goals have come this season from just before half time, like from the 30th to the 45th minute. I think we're very intelligent in the way we're managing games, and you never know, we might just be able to sort of outsmart Arsenal for this one, and especially with the form they're in. So I'm going into it with a bit more optimism, and hopefully we'll see a good result, even if not a victory. So I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1. Yeah, this is it.
He's picked
I
him.
can't wait
He's
to be
put it up there.
wildly wrong. Yeah, it's out there. 2-1.
Go on,
to the
Andy.
Reds.
Andy's going to be like 4-0.
No, I was wondering if there are the replays. If this is a draw, or is it settled on the day? Is it?
Any pens?
Well, this is what I'm wondering
Because
because
I think
we're
it
very good at
goes
that.
penalties.
I think it
Who's
goes.
Pens?
Yeah.
All right, then 1-1 Liverpool and Pens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've done that for a few times this season, so I wouldn't put it past us. Like,
I'd be annoyed if
We
it
lost
didn't go
that
that way.
shootout, didn't we? We lost that last shootout we had. We were the Conti Cup queens, and then we blew it, didn't we?
We did.
Oh well.
But fingers crossed. I'm gonna. I don't know. You've all thrown me off because you've all gone so completely different that I'm just like, oh no. I quite like the idea of like a 1-1 or a 2-1 in 90 minutes and then a win on pens. That I think that's the most exciting option. So I'll go with that. But yeah, let us know your score predictions down in the comments below. But yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Just by the way, dead quick, like if we win this game at 12 o'clock on the Sunday and we're watching it down in London, I don't think I'm making kickoff at Wembley. I'll have to be honest.
I'll be on a table somewhere.
Yeah,
in a bar in
absolute
Spain.
limbs.
Yeah.
Like I might just go straight back to the Clipper.
yeah. But,
They should put us on a big screen. We should FaceTime the Clipper, and they should just put us on a big screen in the Clipper.
You should just do a live stream we'll just do a live stream on the channel. Me and Spain,
what about that fella who
in
really
London.
wanted the news that day?
Oh yeah, we had to suffer through
Fuming
Cardiff.
with the four of us.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm sure we'll have some sort of post-match reaction, whether it's a big win or a big loss anyway. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, guys. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all on Sunday with some post-match content.